Hey guys, I've got a secret to tell you. I'm gay. Obviously, you probably already know that if you've been watching me for a little while. Otherwise, you will learn very, very quickly. My name's Hallie Bratton. Welcome to HBCorrespondence. For those of you that don't know, I used to have a YouTube channel. I think it was called Hallie Talks. I deleted it before I started this one, and I just wanted to start fresh, start over. I think I had like 5 videos on that channel. On that channel, I had an old coming out video, and it was made when I was a sophomore in high school, I believe. I will put a clip in here. I'm a sophomore, and actually the year's almost over, only 1 more week. But, so I'm a sophomore, and I realized I was gay in 8th grade, and I had this friend, well, we're still friends, but a couple things to talk about really quick. In that video, I said, a lot. And this was back when there was no, well, I'm sure there was editing software, but it wasn't readily available the way that software is now. So there was no editing. And this is back in the day when you couldn't put anything over 10 minutes on YouTube without special permission. So it's all a bit of a mess. Let's talk about that background. I have an unmade bed, I have a towel on the back of my chair, the lighting is terrible, the camera quality is terrible. I remember I was using a webcam. I know that the lighting quality in my current videos is not great, but that's because I'm using natural lighting. Obviously not super great, but it's kind of just what I have to work with right now. But anyways, so that video, a lot of the information is kind of inaccurate at this point. Back when I made that video, I was still considering myself bi. I was in 10th grade at the time. I don't consider myself bi anymore. I certainly think that there's the potential for me to fall in love with a man because of the person, but at the end of the day, I am more attracted to women only, and that is ultimately who I'm going to end up with most likely, unless there's just something about a guy. But I think it's possible for everybody, even if they identify as a heterosexual or homosexual, that they could fall in love with the opposite of what they identify as. Because people are people. It's not about gender at the end of the day. Okay, so let's just step into my coming out process, kind of where it began, the story and everything. For a very quick example into my past, this is what I looked like when I was 5. This is what I looked like in 3rd grade when I was 8 years old. This is basically how I looked for a good 3 years. I was a very gay kid. I had short hair, I dressed a lot like a boy a lot of the time. Even when I dressed like a boy though, my fashion sense was... It was just how I was comfortable. My parents were very supportive. They just let me be me. They let me kind of figure out everything on my own terms. When I was wearing dresses as a little kid, it was before I got to really dress myself and have my own choice, but as soon as I did, they let me do what I wanted. If we went to a nice event, I had to wear something nice. So a lot of times I would wear a suit or a nice pair of pants and a button-up shirt and a tie. You know, that's kind of how I was for a while. And now, looking back, it's like, I really appreciate that my parents were so supportive and just kind of let me dress as how I wanted to and didn't force me to wear a dress or a skirt because I really wasn't comfortable that way. I didn't feel like me, and they accepted that. I feel very strongly about staying true to myself and, you know, not losing that and just being me. And I'm not gonna conform to dress a certain way or look a certain way because that's what people want me to do. And I think that's really important for anybody watching this who's maybe currently in the closet or struggling with family or whatever. At the end of the day, just try to stay true to yourself. I understand if there are safety concerns that keep you held back. And you don't have to be gay for this to be true. Don't let somebody rearrange your life or tell you how to look or tell you how to act, because ultimately you're not going to be happy. I kind of just gave a longer than I expected to rundown of my background. Okay, let me get back to like the actual story of coming out. The summer of my 8th grade year, I was I think 13. I went to a block party of a friend, ran into another friend, and she had told us that she was bi. Another thing I should say about my upbringing, if you don't already know, is that I have 2 moms and a sister. My moms are gay. I'm not gay because I have gay parents. My sister is straight. Whether she was straight or gay, it doesn't matter. Gay parents don't make you gay. You are who you are. Also, another thing I just want to clarify really quick. They're not accepting of me being gay just because they're gay. They taught my sister and I to be accepting of everyone, no matter what race, gender, sexual orientation, economic upbringing, anything. You did not bully anybody, you did not judge anybody, it didn't matter. That is why they were so accepting, because they taught us to be that way anyway. So I obviously knew what gay was because I have gay parents. It wasn't like a foreign concept to me, but the concept of a kid being gay or bisexual was foreign to me. I had never met anybody else my age gay, had never seen anybody else my age gay, and this would be about 10 years ago, I think, so 2006. This is not when people were so openly gay the way they are more so nowadays. So yeah, it was a big deal. I think the millennial generation was at that peak of hitting puberty and starting to, well, I guess there's millennials older than my age group, but you know, everybody was learning that it really didn't matter and starting this new generation of acceptance. Not that people older than us are not accepting, I'm not saying that. So yeah, she told us that and it made me really question everything, and I was just thinking about how strange that was and how I'd never known a kid to be gay because the only gay people I knew were all adults. Over the week I just kept thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about how interesting it was, and then I realized the reason I found it so interesting was because I related to her in that way and that I identified that way as well. And I've always been a pretty upfront, honest person, very open. But 8th grade had started about a week later. I was going to a new school that year. The school I went to the year before, well actually the 2 years before, was a private school, and while I was there, I was bullied a lot, and which ultimately made me leave. It was towards me being different. The community of that private school just were not accepting. It wasn't really a conversation that people had. I think I was the only kid in school with gay parents. So I started at this new school, public school. I was really excited to branch out, to have nobody know the old me and that I was bullied. I was determined to be more outgoing and make friends and have a set of friends that I could count on if I were to be bullied again. So I did make friends quickly. I told them pretty much right away. I remember the way I was coming out to people in middle school was very juvenile. First I would say that I have gay parents and did they care, and say what they said. Everyone always said they didn't care. So then I'd be like, okay, great, I'm bi too. And I stuck with the story of being bisexual until I'd say 10th or 11th grade, I think. And I'm not really sure why it took me so long to completely identify as gay. I didn't date like a whole bunch in middle school or high school, just throwing that out there. I had one girlfriend in 8th grade who was one of my friends I had told, and we dated on and off for I think a year and a half, and it was the messiest, most tumultuous relationship I've ever had in my life. And I know it was only middle school, so it was never going to work out anyways, but that relationship was very toxic. And I'm not going to go into it further than that, but I do not talk to her anymore, and I haven't talked to her really since 10th grade. And I'm not the kind of person to cut people out of my life. It actually really bothers me when people are cut out of my life. Usually if I don't talk to somebody anymore, it's because we've just kind of gone our separate ways, but it's not because something happened to make that happen. She is really the only person in my life I've ever actively cut out and kept out. The second relationship I had, well, I guess this wasn't the second relationship I had ever had, but the second girlfriend was very brief. It was for 6 months, kind of on and off. It was very messy. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about her. I don't talk to her anymore. It's not because something terrible happened or anything. We kept in contact for a little while. We just kind of went our separate ways, like people do. And then my third girlfriend, I dated for 2 years on and off, and also a very messy relationship. And it's not because like I just bring these messy relationships into my life necessarily. She was just having a hard time with her own coming out. She was having a hard time committing. I was having a hard time with my emotions and learning how to have a high school relationship and not a deeply committed relationship at such a young age, you know? I mean, I certainly don't just blame her. I think we just weren't gonna work out in the end regardless. We're still friends to this day. I still talk to her quite a bit. And then after her, I kind of dated around for a while. I didn't have any like relationships. I just kind of did me. After about a year of that in college, I was a sophomore. I met Kelsey, and we've been dating for 4.5 years ever since. I don't think I've said yet how I came out to my family. To my parents, one of them, I don't really remember specifically telling. I think it was just kind of a gradual thing, and I would just ask gay questions. And then my other mom, I don't know why I was so nervous to come out to her. I don't know what it was exactly. Even with really accepting parents or gay parents or whatever, I think everybody still gets nervous about coming out because it is a big deal when you do it. I remember writing her a letter, a tiny little paragraph explained that I thought I was gay, not even that I was gay, that I thought I was. I might not have even said gay, I might have said bi. I have no idea at this point. And then a good like 2 paragraphs were about how I was failing math. Yeah, that's how I came out to her. Coming out as gay in that same letter really cushioned the blow about math. And then my sister, I don't remember how I came out to her. I think it was just kind of like a unspoken like agreement kind of thing about how she just knew and somebody told her, I guess. And yeah, I just would tell her about who I was dating or whatever, I think. I really don't know. I don't remember ever having a conversation with her, but I know she knows. So yeah, that was basically my coming out experience. And it was all pretty simple. There wasn't some huge issue when I came out. There wasn't really huge homophobia I ever really experienced. The only homophobia I have ever experienced was 2 of my girlfriend's parents were homophobic and did not want us dating, or didn't want me dating their daughter because I was a girl. And then the other experience of homophobia I had was at a job once. I essentially got fired for being gay. They did it a very like sneaky, very skeezy way to avoid getting sued, I guess. And I was 15 or 17 or 16, I don't know, I can't remember at the time. And yeah, I mean, I should have sued them. My mom really wanted to. I just didn't want all the drama. I was still kind of figuring out everything on my own. Yeah, and I didn't want all that attention. It was very embarrassing for me. It was very hurtful for me. And it really set me back for a while, being comfortable with who I was. But that's such a small blip in my life at this point that I don't ever focus on it. I'm never gonna let that happen again. And I've never had an experience like that since, so that's good, I guess. And yeah, I'm sorry this video is kind of long, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you have any questions for me. I am always open to talk, despite the fact that I've never had a really awful coming out experience. I am certainly here to talk if anybody wants to. If you want to message me on Twitter, it is @HallieBratton. If you have questions that you want public and you want answered, I'd love to know any of your stories, any of your experiences, any of your thoughts. Just let me know down below in the comment section. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you Wednesday with a new vlog. Bye!